Okay, so before we're going to cast these off, what you need to do is put them back together. It's really, really simple. I'll show you on the easier mold. Now, as you can see, we didn't cut all the way through the mold because that will help align it and close it. And all you need to do is close it. And how you do that is really simply and inexpensively. Grab your electric tape, start at the bottom, wrap around once, and then go all the way up to the top, cap it off, pull to rip. There's your mold. And your head mold is a little bit more complicated because you have to hold the top on in place and you have to wrap around the base, and still it's a piece of cake. Take you 2 seconds. So what you need to do is realign that, get that back on. Electric tape, start it off, start at the bottom, wrap around once, go around twice, and you're going to come down to the bottom and up across the top. Down to the bottom, up across the top, and then seam them together. There you go. We are ready to mold. We'll get a 2-part urethane tinted flesh because we'll have to paint the bobble, all the different color clothes. What you want is a base, and the base should always be the flesh color because you don't want to paint the face flesh and see streaks and brush marks and things like that. And we'll get into that later. But for now, let's get into casting. Okay, so we're ready to cast, and what I did is I pre-mixed a 2-part epoxy resin, and it's tinted flesh, and I'm just mixing it together. And what I'm doing is I'm waiting for me to feel the cup getting warm, and once it gets warm, you know that it's starting to set. From there you have about a 2-minute set time. So it's getting a little warm. I'm going to grab that mold. There's your pour hole, there's your air escape hole, and we're going to wait till material comes out of that hole, and then we'll know that the mold is totally filled up. So that's what's called a vent, and you're going to wait for that vent to vent out. And there it is. See how that filled up? So now you know that all the air came out. Has been escaped. There should be no bubbles on the cast, and we'll find out in about 2 minutes. Okay, so we're ready to cast into our body mold, and it's all ready to go. I pre-mixed out resin material, and we're just going to pour that in, and this is nice and quick pour. You should have no gaps, no bubbles, everything should be fine. And I'm just going to double check. Just going to top it off right at the rim. You don't want to put in too much. And just to show you the differences in color from this cast and the head, which we already poured, you can see it's solidifying, the color's changing, and that means the material is setting. So within a couple of minutes we'll open these up and you'll have 2 perfect casts. Okay, so we're back, and you can see our material has solidified. This one is super duper warm, a lot more material, and it's curing. So we're going to put this off to the side. We're going to work on the head mold, and it's pretty simple how to open up a mold. Get your X-Acto knife, strike through, strike across the bottom. You open that up. So this is where our trusty snippers come in. What you'll really want to do is take this material off the top. It's going to be hard. We're pulling it apart when it's somewhat soft. Not too soft, because then your head will deform. This popped off right quick. This is your sprue that we put on originally. This is where you poured the material. We don't need that. Take this off. What you do first is you separate the mold. And there it is. There's your opening. That's where your neck and your spring goes. How cool is that, huh? Hot. And what you want to do now is get out the head, spread it in half, grab your head, wiggle it, and there it is. Just the way it should be. And what you'll do with your snippers, you'll quickly trim this off. And most of this just breaks off. You're going to come over here, you're going to trim off the next sprue. And then we'll take some sandpaper to that, and then we'll start painting. And there it is, your perfect bobblehead. So even though it's still a little warm, the piece is very solid. So we're going to open it up anyway. And this is very simple, just cut open. Boom, 2 seconds. Taking this one apart is really, really simple. What you're going to do is just spread it apart, both sides. You want the mold to detach from the part, and all you're going to do is open it up, grab from the base, get a nice handle on it, wiggle and pull, and there it is, all ready to be painted. How cool is that? We'll trim this off, we'll clean it up, and we'll get it ready for paint. We'll pick out our paint, we'll decide what color jacket, the microphone, pants, shoes. It's got a logo in the back, and we'll just make it really nice for the customer. Okay?